Welcome to my channel where we discuss various topics related to Quebec and Canadian real estate. My name is Joseph Noor. I'm a licensed real estate broker here in the province of Quebec. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about declaration of co-ownership. So in the previous episode, I gave an introduction into the world of co-ownership, and I explained that here in Quebec and most in major part of Canada, there's typically three types of co-ownership. So we talked about divided co-ownership, undivided co-ownership, and divided and co-ownership by share, And I spent time explaining the differences between each. And in today's video and in subsequent video, we're going to be zooming in specifically on divided co-ownership because that's the one that is the most heavy in terms of information that you need to know. There's a lot of things we need to cover. And so I'll break this down into multiple video, as I mentioned previously. Today, we're just going to be speaking about the declaration of co-ownership. Basically, it's a document that legally binds together all the individual that's living within the co-ownership. So you can say it's one of the most important document that you need to get your hands on, whether you're buying or selling a divided co-ownership. This document, it's a very lengthy one. Usually it's like 70 page and up. It's written here in Quebec, it's written by notaries usually. And that document is published in the Quebec, online Quebec land registry, in French, le Registre foncier du Québec. And typically the document has three sections. So the first one is called the Constituting Act of Co-Ownership. The second portion are the bylaws, or the rules. And the last one is the description of the fraction. So I'll go through, give you a high-level overview of each of these sections and what to look out for. So first one, the Constituting Act of Co-Ownership. In that section, you'll have several pages that will talk about, firstly, the destination of the building. So is it residential? Is it commercial? Is it mixed? Whether that's on the private fraction or the common area. Because remember, in the first video, when we talk about divided co-ownership, it's divided into fraction. Some of those fraction are privately held. So you and I, for example, can purchase one of those fraction. And there's other portion that are called common area. And those common area could be open to all the owners to use, or they may be restricted to some owners. Example, usually balconies on condo building, those are common area with restrictive use, we refer to them. The second thing that you will find in the first section is the number of vote that each co-owner have. So based on the relative size of the unit of your fraction, you will have a proportional number of vote. So if you have a bigger unit, you have more vote. If you have 2, 3, 4 unit that you own, you'll obviously have more vote as well. And lastly, you will find the roles and responsibility of the board of director and each individual owner. So because we're talking about co-ownership, there is a board of director that will typically run the building. They will run the meetings. They will work with property manager if there's a property manager. They will make sure they document. They'll make sure they do the budget and all the financial stuff related to the building. And that board of director is typically comprised of owners within the building. So that is the first section of our declaration of co-ownership, which was the Constituting Act of Co-Ownership. The second one are the bylaws, which is all the rules of the building. Now, one of the things that is extremely important to know is when the declaration of co-ownership is firstly created, there's going to be rules that are already in it. However, over time, there's going to be new rules that are going to be voted in. And so they're not going to necessarily modify that declaration of co-ownership. There's just going to be documents that are going to be added. So it's important when you're asking, so let's just say you're a buyer and you're looking to buy a divided co-ownership, and you're asking a copy of the declaration of co-ownership, also ask a copy of any additional rules or law that have been passed or modified since the original creation of the document. Okay, so that's very important. And there's going to be rules about, your private fraction, about the common area. For example, if there's a pool, what you're allowed, what you're not allowed. There's going to be rules around how the board of directors are voted in, how long they're going to be on their mandate, and so forth, so on. So there's a bunch of rules and regulation about the building that can be found in that section. And typically, usually new rules are voted by the co-owner. So when there's an assembly of the co-owners, there's going to be the board of director are going to present new rules that they want to put in place, and each owners will have to vote, and your vote is based on the number of vote that each owners have, which can be found in the first portion, which we refer to as the constituting act of co-owner. So that was the bylaw section, which is the middle section of the document. And then the last one is the description of the fraction. Typically what you'll see is, if you have, example, a apartment complex that has condo units, each floor is going to be listed, and it's going to show you the lot number of each of the fraction, the privately held fraction, and also the lot number of the common area. So those are the three portion of the declaration of co-ownership. So I'm just going to recap those. So the first one is the constituting act of co-owner. Then you have the bylaw, and then you have the description of the fraction. Again, I'm going to repeat myself. It is extremely important that you review that document. So it's not enough just to ask a copy of it. So sometimes I see offer made on a property where they will ask a copy of it, but nobody revise it. You need to go through this document. There's other critical document that you will need to look into, and we'll touch on that throughout this series on co-ownership. But it's an extremely important document that you need to review, and make sure that if you're working with a broker, that broker is also reviewing it with you and answering any questions that you may have. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful. I'll see you in the next video, where we're going to touch another topic on the world of divided co-ownership. Thank you.